That's Corky the Wonder Dog. He was a shelter dog.
Okay, now he's your dog.
Okay, we're live.
Now he's your dog.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you.
Oh, the other thing is that I'm lacking my most important hearing instrument from my right ear. It fell apart temporarily, so I'm going to be relying on the closed captioning. It says, are we still here? Yes, okay. So, does anybody wish to make any additions to the agenda or changes? If not, we'll treat the agenda as unanimously agreed upon. The minutes from December. Anybody want to?
I have a comment.
Yes, sir?
I would like the word hard beer changed to strong beer.
Okay, makes sense.
'Cause I think that's.
Any objections to that?
That's the usual.
So ordered.
Hard usually.
Any other requests for change or review? If there's no objection, the minutes will be shown as unanimously approved.
He's Turkins, isn't he?
That leaves us with the city council report first. Craig, what do you have for us?
I wasn't at the last city council meeting, but I did zoom in for the prior meeting. The last meeting was a short meeting. What was accomplished at that meeting was setting the new levy for next year, and I believe they decided on a 3.17. So a 3.17% increase was voted upon at the last meeting, and that was the only item on the agenda. That's all I have for that.
And it could be said
Okay.
that due to the rec park revenue
Right.
overperformance of 2023, we met our revenue goal plus about 50,000 is
Yeah,
a bigger, I think, piece of that levy reduction.
I think it was an extra 50,000 that got pushed over, yeah. So that helped bring the levy down.
So good job, park board,
Way to go.
So what we do here matters. That's good.
directly.
Speaking of that, you have a very brief but helpful park report for us.
Yeah, Steve, so it's the new year. Happy New Year, everyone. I got the 2024 January Parks Report. Everybody had a chance to look through maybe. It's brief, as you say. Really, we're into that reservation season right now. December, we were booking June arrivals. The beginning of the month was pretty slow, just like the beginning of June. But as the month progressed and towards the end of June, we have the Wooden Boat Show Festival around the 21st of June. That's when we really started to see the uptick in reservations. Last week I was in quite a bit taking reservations for the end of June, which was able to wrap through to the beginning of July. Folks can stay for up to 14 nights. So we had lots of action for late June. I think the 28th was a Friday of June for folks staying through the 4th of July week. And so it was feeling good. Now we're back to hundreds of reservations being made late June through early July. Quite a bit of activity over the weekend when we were out, but the online booking machine's been effective. Today was busy, but not like in the past. Not too long ago, we were stacking them up at the door as we were releasing all the arrival dates on the first business day of January. In the recent past, we've been able to, the old policy was the whole month of July was available, starting January 1st. And so that too created a lot of interest and a lot of phone calls on our first business day of January. But today was just a busy day for a lot of folks explaining the new policy. We did our best to be proactive and get the new booking scheme out over last summer. We were handing out slips as to this new rolling day policy, but a lot of folks missed that memo, and we're making that call this morning to try to secure something for later on in July. Towards the end of the month, it's going to be popular again for what will wrap through in August and Fisherman's Picnic. And so busy day on the phones, just explaining our new policy, making a few books as well, but overall it's going really smooth with the new Firefly system. Let's see, we do also have the month for January for deposits for the monthly/seasonal guests, the folks that are staying for the summer. we extend this first right of refusal for their deposit process. They have this entire month to get $100 in on their seasonal bill. And that, we've got about 90 folks in that category of seasonal monthly. We're expecting, a really good retention there, usually around 95% of the folks come back every year. So we don't turn over a lot of seasonal sites, but we'll know that availability here by the beginning of February. Sam, our office manager, will be chasing down some procrastinators and making sure we know where everybody's at with their seasonal site. By February, we'll start to work the waiting list on placing vacant seasonal sites. And then the last bit of business we worked on last month was moving forward on the interpretive panel for the Morrison Memorial at the Overlook Landing. We've beginning of December meeting, passed the motion to feature just a singular panel. I've kind of settled on a size about 2 by 3, not too big, not too small. And Stacy Drouillard, a local author and creator, was just ideally suited to write the narrative for this. We looked up some Forest Service guidelines for interpretive panels. They spec out about 150 to 200 words on this size of a panel. We're certainly going to want to include some graphics and some, visuals as well as just the words. So I'm hoping to engage a local designer to handle the final layout and graphic design of the panel itself. But that project's progressing well. We've also gotten a price from CJ Fernandez and his design group. They were, as far as the pedestal goes, like a powder coated black pedestal that would support this panel. We're looking at $600 to maybe $800 for that. Stacy's services are reasonable. A designer we hope to get as well for a fair price, and so everything's progressing really well. Budget's looking really good on this one. Hopefully we'll be under a couple thousand. Timeline, obviously we want this thing installed by the spring, and we're still waiting on the arbor and metal panels as well from the subcontractors with Global. So hopefully they get in the next month or two. That's been their promise all season. They want to get this done. It was scheduled to be done last year, so we need to get that finished and get a interpretive panel up and then have a grand opening in the spring. That's it for me.
Good. That will be exciting. Are there any questions or comments about the park report? There being a large silent, we go to old business.
Well, the master plan's usually been the piece of this.
We adopted the master plan and sent it to the council. Has the council acted?
Well, it hasn't been acted upon yet, no, Steve. Hopefully this month in January is when the council will make the final approval on the master plan.
Okay.
We took the last kind of, meeting from December with the preliminary approval to recommend approval, and shared all the feedback we talked about with the meeting as far as prioritizing the development plan, a little bit of wordsmithing around the circulation, for example. That was all shared with Gabrielle and her team, and so we're working on the final draft of that plan. That document will be before City Council hopefully this month. And we hope to, once City Council approves it, we'll submit it to the Greater Regional Minnesota Parks and Trails Commission.
When you send it to the council, would you also send us copies by email of the final version?
Of course.
That would be wonderful. Craig, I gather you don't anticipate any problem from the council on the issue?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They've already looked at it, so everybody's looked at it.
But just,
Bill.
what was the time frame? You said once the council approves it, then you send it in. Are you talking that they might do some things in 6 months, 8 months, or what is the time frame for the quickest we get a portion of the money?
Good question on actual funding. The first step is to become regionally significant, so that's more like within 6 months, within 3
Okay.
months, we would hope to know if we meet the criteria, if we qualify for regional significance. That's kind of an open submission period of, the master plan will be submitted soon after council approves it, so within a month or so, we'll upload it to their portal, their online portal. That group, though, probably meets like quarterly, so that, I'm not sure on their meeting schedule, but, you know, we would have a decision on our status by the spring. And with that decision, then we, you know, hope for the best, we become regionally significant. Then we start to formulate that development plan for building out the trailhead parking and the bathhouse rec hall. That would all be,
The priority
Yeah.
structure we set.
yeah, and that's gonna take time to get plans, you know, engineered plans, and submit those to the state for funding. That's gonna be about a year, we reckon, to actual, you know, approval or grant, you know, success for funding is, I would think, easily a 6-month to 12-month process from the point of becoming, after the point of becoming regionally significant. So certainly no changes this year in the bigger build-outs. We do want to focus on wayfinding, though, and signage on some of the smaller pieces of the development plan, you know, a new entrance sign, some of these kiosks and maps and, you know, connectivity. I feel we can put on our own capital plans, the internal funding that we have for capital improvements can fund like a new entrance sign, for example. So those projects, I believe, will be what we'll work on in the next year as a board, looking at, you know, designs and prices and options for some of the signage components that are identified in the plan. But as far as actual build-out of new facilities or new parking lots, that's easily a year out. We do still hope to have the 8th Avenue overlay project completed this year, as this has been real work in progress with the county and the state and that state park funding money to just do a simple overlay on 8th Avenue to get rid of those potholes. You know, that is very much a priority this year. We've got plans from LHB engineered and ready for bid. And now I think it's just a matter of negotiating with the county and LHB on the bidding process and the construction management for that project. Probably about a $250,000 overlay. But state park road fund money has been allocated.
And then, of course, there's the timing of it when it actually happens, right? 'Cause
Yeah. I'd love to get it in early, before the busy season. We did our best with, you know, cold patching some of the potholes last summer, but that road is really needy for an overlay. And so I'll continue to put the pressure on the, powers that be to get that.
Is there any action required by us with regard to that overlay project? We've done what we need to do.
Yep,
Okay.
we just need to keep the
Is
pressure
there any
on.
reason why we might not do some preliminary design work, or at least choosing the people who would be designing the larger projects when we get, because we have reasonable likelihood of getting regional significance, if I understand it correctly. So
Yeah.
would it make some sense to spend a little time and money to get that stuff begun? Or is it something that just is better off to wait?
I think it makes sense, but it is a capacity issue. It's a, can we pull it off? Do I have time? Does the administration have time? I know with the City Hall liquor store rebuild being a real big project for the administration, they're really tied up in that construction process over the next 12 to 18 months. That said, the design groups and the construction groups that are on that project could certainly be brought into our work, or they would be a good fit. I feel like we've got a good relationship with, like, McGough is, I think, our construction manager for City Hall. And we would hope to use that relationship when it comes to some of our construction projects. So it makes sense, Steve. It's just a matter of capacity and timing.
Okay, well, you'll see what capacity might be available.
Yep.
Okay,
And then on a final note of the priorities and the marina, and we heard that we need to continue to work with the Army Corps on that feasibility study for any movement of the inner break wall and reconfiguring down in the marina portion of the master plan. I can continue to put the feelers to the Army Corps to engage with this feasibility study, which sounds like a lengthy, somewhat expensive project, but something we can continue to work with them on.
I suspect that getting the Corps' approval is the real linchpin to the whole thing, or their
Definitely.
analysis, whether they approve it or not, right?
For sure.
Okay. Well, if you need help from the city council or the county, the Corps has been known to have some political involvement.
Definitely.
So it wouldn't hurt, I suppose, just to let them know that all other things being equal, we care.
Definitely. And that will be just in more pressure on getting the paperwork, getting the right forms in order to request this planning assistance to states. Is their program PAS? And the initial
Okay.
process is just a letter of inquiry.
So, are there other thoughts, questions, comments under new business or on any of what we've talked about?
We need a new place to meet when this building is demolished. Just, I know city council is looking at relocating temporarily to commissioner room.
I don't know yet.
That's what I've been told.
Don't know.
But, so the rough timeline is, March
Right, yeah.
demo of this room. And so, very soon we'll find out where we're gonna meet, and I think, gonna follow the lead of council and try to take things up to the commissioner's room, if it's available, on first Tuesdays at this time. But I'll be sure to let you all know with, obviously a bunch of lead time.
I don't think we need to vote on that question, do we?
Not at all. Nope,
The
it's just
council basically tells us where we can meet.
well,
Okay.
we'll
and
decide, yeah,
We
we'll let
certainly
you
want to
know.
meet somewhere other than the old room where we used to meet in the admin building.
Yeah, the rec hall, not so warm right now. And no video, so because the commissioner's room is set up to stream, I think that's why council's considering it, and it would work
Okay.
for us as well.
Well, is there any more business? Yes, sir.
I'll keep going with the FYIs on this new city hall news. The temporary home of city hall business and et cetera is, I believe, not going to be at the park. Like I maybe shared a few meetings ago where we were just scouting locations for both the temporary home of the liquor store as well as the city hall front desk. And the rec hall was on the list. That has since been released, or it's no longer on the list. We got that news from the administration last month that we're free and able to book the rec hall as usual for family reunions and graduation parties and that sort of business. So the rec hall is not going to be the liquor store, but the park office may be a contact point for the public, when they come to pay their bills or are looking to city hall business. They're working, the administration is working on the touch points for contacting the city, and the library is certainly going to be on that list, the park office. They may have a temporary location up at the Public Works facility.
Will the council be sending help to your office as well as responsibility?
Possibly, yeah. That's the
good.
rumor is they'll stop by and help us check in guests in July.
Do we know yet where the liquor store is going to land?
Do we?
He does.
Why are we looking at Brian?
Because he said yes.
Because I didn't know it was public.
I haven't, I just know from talking with other people, I have not been notified by the city formally of exactly where it's going. So
Nothing
I
formal
don't
yet.
think I should say anything
I
until I know.
agree, it's not official.
I mean, I was gonna come in and talk to this today, but I didn't get a chance, but I'll be going back to Michigan probably tomorrow or Thursday, but I will have a conversation before I leave.
Yeah, I'm certain it's going to be public knowledge soon.
Yeah, I would think so.
Maybe Friday.
Well, the key thing is we need to know where to go to buy.
Oh, you'll
Yeah,
know.
that'll be all,
So you'll send us a message when it becomes public.
You'll
it'll be
know.
all advertised, and I'm sure there's a lot of
Any
work.
other business to be brought for the good of the order? If not, the meeting is adjourned.